I guess my first question is, when you think back on the judge, what immediately comes to mind about her?
She was a very, very sophisticated lady. She was very, almost, I'm going to say like an elitist. She was always very proper, and she'd take a break and have a cup of tea. And I remember once I was at, it was like a gathering, and someone handed her something, and the guy said, "Here you go, baby." And she said, "Excuse me, young man, but you don't know me that well. Do not refer to me in that term."
I always heard that her courtroom, she always had proper decorum. You came in there prepared.
That's right. Absolutely. You came in very, very prepared. She was a very meticulous lady.
Now, do you think when she was a judge, that she realized her role as a role model or an inspiration to others that were coming up in the legal profession and who would succeed her?
Oh, I think so. She mentored, a great many young lawyers, and I was very fortunate that about 2 months before she died, we organized a little gathering and had all of the black women judges came, and we came to her house, and we had a little luncheon, and she was so happy. And it was really good that a lot of the girls who did not know her got an opportunity to have a picture with her, because she's history. She was the first black woman judge in Ohio.
And you all had your robes, right?
We all had our robes, and I could send you some of the pictures.
Oh, I'd love to see some of that. I'd like to use some if you wouldn't mind. When you look at her role as a judge, was it difficult for her at that time, being a black female judge?
Oh, I'm sure it was. She actually, she's really a very different generation than myself. I know that she worked in Washington during World War II, and I think she came back to Cleveland and went to law school. And I know she worked for the Attorney General's office, and she had worked on the workers' comp panel for the state when they offered her the judgeship, and I think she was reluctant to take the job because she didn't know if there was security in it or not, and I think they kind of had to talk her into taking it.
Being the first black woman judge in Ohio, do you think lawyers or defendants, anybody treated her any different, or when you got into her courtroom, that was it?
Oh, she was very, very proper. I mean, when I took the bench in 1980, I remember somebody coming out thinking, "Oh, a woman judge," Even when I became a judge in 1980, so I think she started, in the 60s or 70s?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was very difficult. Even when I went to the National Judicial College in Reno, there were only 2 bathrooms for women because there were so few women. So I'm sure she, was really unique in her position.
She being able to mentor you, what do you think you learned the most from Judge Burke?
I think Judge Burke taught me to follow the rules, to be very proper, that this is not a joke, that this is not a casual affair, that you really have to be serious. But you didn't cross Judge Burke. I remember there was a story once that the prosecutor told her down in courtroom 3D, "You can't do that." And she goes, "What do you mean you can't do that?" And then she just found no probable cause in every case that morning, which he still would have gone back to the grand jury. But you didn't cross her.
And as you said, she was a very interesting lady out of the court too. She played music, loved to cook, right?
And she was a master bridge player. She was a master bridge player. In fact, she played bridge with a cousin of mine from Washington. I remember once that I called her, and because my cousin was in town, and I called her, and she bemoaned and said she wasn't feeling very well. So I apologized and said, "Oh, my cousin was here and she wanted to play bridge." She goes, "Oh, well, wait a minute." And she said, "Well, I'll call you back." And I called her back. She says, "Well, bring her over." And I went back. Took my cousin to her house, and she had bridge tables, and they played bridge all night. So she was very, very devoted to bridge. She was a nationally ranked master bridge player. She also was very involved in the stock market, I understand. I think she helped some of the judges with investments. She had like a little investment club, and she played the piano.
Well, obviously her place in Ohio history is secure, but what would you like people to know about her that maybe they don't?
She opened a lot of doors for people, and I think that's the important thing. And she wasn't haughty about it. You know, she was very personable, and she did her job, and she was always a lady.